Result. It's a tribute to all the ones who ran before me, known as spit truth, so y'all can understand his glory. It's a tribute to all the ones who ran before me, known as spit truth, so y'all can understand his glory. It's a tribute to all the ones who ran before me, known as spit truth, so y'all can understand his glory. It's a tribute to all the ones who ran before me, known as spit truth.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unsolicited, episode 23. I am your host, the Evangelical Norm. So today we're going to jump in on a new album that came out. It's been out a little over, maybe it's actually been out 2 weeks. I may have had it for 2 weeks. And it's just, when I do a review, I want to make sure I've heard the album enough times that I can really talk about it. Because here's the deal. A lot of these guys on this album, I don't know. I haven't heard them before. Again, I talk about this a lot, but I dropped out of the CHH scene for a long time, for maybe 10 years, before I picked back up with some Shailin and stuff like that. So I was back in the day with End Time Warriors and Unity Clan. I still cringe the fact that I owned a Unity Clan album. They weren't bad, just some kind of name it, claim it, hyper Pentecostal kind of lyrics. They did have some cool beats back in the day. So I dropped out and did nothing but worship and vineyard worship kind of stuff. For a long time before I kind of got my CHH feet back underneath me. So a lot of these guys I don't know, so I really want to go back and really listen a lot. So that's not, that in no way is that a slight on guys that will get an album and listen to it for 3 days and throw out a review. So, do your thing, man. You guys, guys that do reviews, Mario Esco, Carlos and stuff like that. Guys like that, they've been in this for a long time. They know these guys. I won't listen to their reviews before I do my own, just simply because I don't want to let my opinion be influenced by them. And then I'll go back and listen to them, and then maybe my opinion does get a little more influenced, because these guys know what they're talking about, and I've been doing stuff and kind of in moving through the CHH world for about 5 years now, that I've been back in it. Really deep and stuff, but. These are guys that live in this world and have been here for a long time. So props to those guys. But I like to make sure I'm doing my research and really listening and letting this stuff kind of sit in and hit me. And so this one, it's been kind of a crazy time at work. Usually I'm listening to this while I'm working, and so. A lot of times what'll happen is I'll hear the first 4 or 5 songs on an album, and then I get distracted doing something else. I have to turn it off. I have to do whatever, and then I end up going back. So I really get to know the first 5 or 6 songs on an album and not so much the last one. So then I have to remember, okay, start at this track and move on and try to catch up. So it'll take me a week to 2 weeks before I'm really comfortable going, I'm ready to do a review on this. So all of that is to say we are going to review Datin's new album, CHH Ain't Dead. And no, sir, it is not. And it is glorifying God all, just as much as it ever has. We won't call out people by their name and stuff like that, but there are guys that have obviously kind of dropped a little bit of their intensity for gospel-centered, Christ-centered music, and into more of a positive, encouraging K-Love kind of CHH. But I mean, every track on this, and now I'm gonna be honest. This, not every track hit with me on this. There were some that I was just like, and but there were some that really were, and every one of them. And here's my thing. I'm not gonna tear down the ones that didn't hit with me, because you guys might listen to them, and some of the ones that didn't hit with me might bang with you. So all of these, none of them are bad tracks. Somebody might, I don't know, somebody with a little more technical knowledge and stuff like that might go, that was a bad track. That was, he didn't ride the beat real well, kind of thing. I give props to all these guys that are doing this stuff, and girls. There's Wanda on here that's throwing down, and so guys, girls doing what they do. And I can't do it, so I just come at this. I'm looking at this strictly as a fan. I'm not a guy that breaks down the technicalities of it. I'm not the guy that could even attempt to do it. But I just come at it as a fan and a lover of hip hop. So this has got some really, really good stuff, and this is a huge album. This is there's, I believe, 15 tracks, 28 features, and 7 labels covered on here. You got Infantry on the first track, so I knew I was gonna like that. I mean, I have not come across an Eshon Burgundy track. Jeremiah, there's 2 other guys on here that I don't know that haven't heard of them before, but they're good on this track. So, but I knew I was gonna like this one. Move was really good. I had never heard either of these guys, Cannon, Marty. I never heard either one of them. Cannon kind of threw off like a Bone Thugs, Eminem vibe as he went, and so it was really cool to kind of listen to that, and kind of took me back to the late 80s, early 90s, Bone Thugs, stuff like that. Jungle was good. And again, I hear these first ones a lot, so I tend to kind of be drawn to those first few songs. Again, there are guys on here I'd never heard of. Drew Becks. I'm assuming I'm going to pronounce this guy's name, John Paul. Ruslan, I'd heard some stuff, had never really been impressed with that. SO, I've always liked, I've been a fan. Hall of Martyrs, I'm going to just say, Hall of Martyrs is my favorite song on this album right now. And it's funny because the first couple times I listened, I was like, this is okay. But as I listened more and more, songs really started to grow on me. Move was one of those that when I first listened to it, I was like, And then as it went on and on, I'm like, no, this is really, really good. I really like this. And I need to track down some more stuff by these guys, especially Cannon with that kind of speedy flow going on is something that I've always kind of liked. Fast enough that it's kind of, not something that not a lot of guys can do, right? But still not so fast that I have no idea what he's saying. I mean, there are some Bone tracks out there that I still, after 20 years of listening to them, I'm like, what are they saying? So that was cool. But Hall of Martyrs is definitely my favorite song. I mean, go figure. I'm the guy that does a podcast and has done a podcast for 9 years about the persecuted church. So talking about martyrs and stuff like that is always going to catch my attention. Michael Peace is on here, the godfather of CHH. The one of the places I was going to look at to get some info on here, I think actually I clicked on his name from the Genius website, which is what this track list is from, because it's the only place I could get all the names on there. But when I clicked on it, it took it to his Wikipedia page, and it called him the grandfather of CHH. I'm like, is that just an old joke or what? But he's on here. He does a couple of interludes. He's on the last track, or not the last track, the Essential, which was another song that really stuck out to me. And I don't know if it's because of this whole lockdown COVID-19 thing, and I have a job that I'm essential, so it might just be the word. But that was another track that really stuck out to me. I've always been a Bizzle fan. Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo was all right. I mean, I wouldn't put it up with my top 10 Bizzle tracks, but I mean, it was good. So it was Back in the Ring was pretty interesting. I realize I'm just naming every song on the album and going, it's good. But so it was a well worth the album. And what it does is, again, I mentioned this before, when you get, this is a Datin album, but it's almost like a compilation album. I mean, there's so many features on here. Datin's bringing in so many guys that it's a compilation album, and I love that because it gives me new names of people that I've never heard of before that I can now go back and listen to, track down some of their older stuff that they've got coming up and coming out, and really kind of expand my horizons as I get back into the CHH world. So I did want to play for y'all, and there's no video for it, but the easiest place for me to get it and pull it up was YouTube. So I'm gonna play a little bit of my favorite song on the album, Hall of Martyrs, for you. This is S.O., Ruslan, Uncle Reese, Drew Bex, and John Paul, Hall of Martyrs. Here we go.
See, if my options were denied the father or I'm a goner, then I'd be forced to choose and say goodbye tomorrow. It is sayonara. It's not because I want to die, I would invite the horror. It's because I know to die a martyr is the highest honor. I don't know why you bother to threaten my life, cause all you do is make it worse. See, when our blood is shed, the bride is stronger. You can't divide and conquer. Martyrdom's a fire starter that will fan our flame white and father, multiplying moral. His knights in shining armor will die for ours. It's kinda sorta like what Leonidas did in this fight for Sparta. We do not like the drama, but Christ has called us to follow him, even if that means submitting our life to slaughter. So whether it's imprisonment in ball and chains, or I'm staring down the barrel of a 44 and bang, I understand to live as Christ, to die there's more to gain. For his name, I will gladly join the Hall of Martyrs slain.
This is a lifestyle more than making music. I lay my life down following the way. This is our faith. Because of his grace, we can finish the race.
The Lord. We ain't never gonna stop. We will praise the Lord, even if it get us shot. We will praise the Lord. We will praise the Lord. We will praise the Lord. Yeah. If you love him, take a shot. If I'm honest, I got like 100 flows. I go where the sun is low. Came through dripping, my clip got a solid load. Gang business, you're hitting a lick and we wanna go, we drip different. The blood of the saints stay on our toes. 100 saints in Nigeria killed for their belief. Feeling grief, I intercede for my brothers who in the streets. When this is deep, how you sleep with a cutlass between the sheets. Not for the thief, but a wolf who got fur between the fleece. I can't deny it, man, I'm standing by it. I'm standing by, they say I'm biased cause the standard higher. One look in my eye, you see the fire, that should energize you. I'm hearing they cry, you see church robes and vandalizers, wash blood with sanitizer. Dyer's game, he took the blade to the diaphragm, all cause he calls Messiah's name. What a dire shame. I am way down, feeling pain cause it's modern day, but the Hall of the Martyrs is where my brothers stay.
This is a lifestyle more than making music. I lay my life down following the way. This is our faith. Because of his grace, we can finish the race.
We will praise the Lord. We ain't never gonna stop. We will praise the Lord, even if it get us shot. We will praise the Lord. We will praise the Lord. We will praise the Lord. Yeah. If you love him, take a shot.
Yeah. Flashback. I was
All right, So we're going to leave it at that. I don't want to give you all of it. If you want it, you got to go and listen to it and buy it for yourself. And this is where I climb up on my soapbox again and say, go spend $10, Google Play, iTunes, wherever. This is I saw a screenshot. I don't buy on iTunes. I don't use Apple. Can't stand it. But you can get it there. And I think this in the CHH, or not the CHH, the hip hop section, because I mean, it was in there with guys that definitely aren't CHH. I wish I had grabbed the screenshot, but this was like number 5 in the hip hop section on iTunes. So, yeah, I mean, it's there, it's available, it's getting picked up. Go pick it up. Go buy this album. Spend your $10 and enjoy it. And support these guys who are doing this work of glorifying God through CHH. As I was reading a little bit, I just clicked that thing about Michael Peace and going back to look at, and I really actually, part of this hearing Michael Peace talk about kind of took me back, and so I actually pulled out my old End Time Warriors, what is a psychoghetopathic something. I can't think of the whole title of the album, but listening to that, just because, I mean, Michael Peace was doing stuff right around the same time. So, started out, but I mean, they were doing this. I mean, he was doing some good sized shows early on and only getting like $2,000 to $3,000 per show that he did. Not taking huge amounts of money, not charging huge amounts of money for shows and stuff like that. So this is what CHH is. These guys, to stream them, they don't get a whole lot. They're not charging a whole lot for their albums. They want to get this into the hands of people who are going to enjoy it, appreciate it, and glorify God along with them. So support them. Support Datin. Support all the guys that were on this track. Go check out, God Over Money and Infantry and all the other Hog Mob, the other places, Wrath and Grace. I mean, so this is Volume 1. I'm looking forward to Volume 2. I really hope that maybe there's some guys from Wrath and Grace on Volume 2, some Christ-centric guys, guys that weren't on labels that weren't represented in this album. I would really hope to see some of those guys show up on the Volume 2. I could really see, Result doing some cool stuff in here. Zeta Blacksmith. I'd love to hear some new stuff by Bridge B too. I don't know where he's doing, what he's doing. I know he's doing some battles and stuff like that. Just popped up on YouTube recently. So looking forward to seeing what Datin's going to put on Volume 2. We'll definitely get out there and get that. So go buy the album, enjoy the album. If you think I'm way off my rocker, go ahead and leave some comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell, get all the stuff that I drop throughout the week for different things, whether you want to talk politics, whether you want to talk theology, whether you want to talk persecuted church, the Fifth Seal, the podcast that started it all off. Again, that's the reason why Hall of Martyrs resonates with me, because I've been in the, talking about persecuted church, brothers dying in Nigeria and Kenya like crazy right now, and for their faith in Christ. So hit it up, subscribe, hit me up, let me know what you think. And as always, preach the gospel at all times, use words, they're necessary, and until next time, Soli Deo Gloria.